Hello everyone, Hexlex here, and I am going to be showing you the Tri-Brigade Zoodiac build that I am using going forward here in Season 3 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I have done a deck profile in the past, as well as a combo guide for this deck. Those links will be in the description if you want to check those out, but I would consider this to be my most current and up-to-date deck profile for Tri-Brigade Zoodiac. Now, at the time I am recording this, we are at the very tail end of Season 2. I have been spending these last few days of the season playtesting this build, and I'm really confident with it going forward, not only in the current meta, but also the meta we were going to be moving into in the beginning of Season 3. Now, if you've watched some of my previous live duel videos from this past week, it's the same build actually we've got here that I've been playtesting with, so if you want to see some additional games, you can go ahead and check those out as well. But in those videos, I just kind of like briefly went over the deck list. I didn't really go too in-depth into it. I'm going to take this video to really talk about the deck itself, whether you're new to the channel and you want to really get into the meat and bones of what Tri-Brigade Zoodiac is about, or if you've been watching for a while but you would like a refresher about how the deck combos and plays. Either way, this is going to be the video for you. Let's go ahead and just jump right into the main deck and look at the cards we've got. We're going to start with the monsters here. We've got 3 Tri-Brigade Nervall, 3 Maxx, 2 Tri-Brigade Kerass, 3 Tri-Brigade Kitt, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 Zoodiac Whiptail, 1 Zoodiac Thoroughblade, 1 Zoodiac Ramram, 3 Tri-Brigade Fraktall, and 2 Nibiru the Primal being. Moving on to spells, we have 1 Harpie's Feather Duster, 3 Pot of Desires, 1 Lightning Storm, 3 Fire Formation Tenki, 2 Called by the Grave, 2 Forbidden Droplet, and then finally in the traps we have 3 Infinite Impermanence and 3 Tri-Brigade Revolt. Moving down here to the extra deck, for Xyz monsters we have 1 Tri-Brigade Tiger Mortar, Zoodiac Tiger Mortar, 1 Zoodiac Trident, 1 Zoodiac Borbo, 1 Zoodiac Chakanane, and finally, of course, Divine AA Zeus Sky Thunder. Divine Arsenal, that is. Moving on to the Link monsters here, we have 1 Salmon Great Almirage, 1 Ancient Warrior's Oath Double Dragon. We have 1 Tri-Brigade Farajit, 1 Tri-Brigade Bearbrum, 1 Hracefilgar the Desperate Doom Eagle. We have a Tri-Brigade Rugal, an Appalachia, an Accesscode Talker, and 2 Shurig, the Ominous Omen, of course also the Tri-Brigade, the Tri-Brigade monster, really. So now that we've gone over what cards are in the deck, let's talk about each of them. Let's break them down into sort of groups, right? So let's start with the Tri-Brigade cards. You can see we've got, in the monsters, we have 3 of each, Nervall, Kitt, and Fraktall, except Kerass, we're playing 2 instead of 3. I think this is fairly standard across most Tri-Brigade builds. Kerass is not the card you want to see 3 of, because it doesn't generate any plays by itself. You have to have another Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast to discard in order to special summon him. Whereas Kitt, Nervall, when they're sent to the graveyard, they get their various effects, and Fraktall, of course, is going to start up all of our plays. The other Tri-Brigade card we are playing is 3 of Revolt. I see some builds using 2. I personally really like 3 Tri-Brigade Revolt, because yes, it can be searched by Bearbrum, but if we open a Tri-Brigade Revolt, that's going to open us up to a lot of other combos so that we don't have to go out of our way into Bearbrum. Could also let us set up a Double Dragon Oath instead of a Bearbrum if we already have Revolt there. So again, I feel like that's mostly fairly standard from what I've seen across builds that are in tournaments and are getting Plat 1 in the ranked ladder as far as like the Tri-Brigade package itself. For the Zoodiac package, in the main deck it's just 3 monsters. You typically play 3 Zoodiac monsters. For my 3, I'm playing 1 of each Whiptail, Thoroughblade, and Ramram. I think most people play like 2 Thoroughblade, 1 Ramram. I like having the Whiptail because I think it's a nice option to have both the banish effect as well as the quick effect to attach. Lets you set up potentially a 6 material Zeus, can be useful for adding during the battle phase to not only get a quick boost in attack for some more damage or to battle over something, but again also the effect to banish a monster that it battles can be useful even especially when being used in conjunction with the quick effect here. And for the extra deck Zoodiac monsters, I mean, I think this is fairly standard. The extra deck in general, I feel, is pretty like locked in. I don't really feel there's any need to change anything here. The most flexible spot I would say is probably the Desperate Doom Eagle, but this is so useful for OTKing, I wouldn't even call it a flex spot. Yeah, I think the extra deck is pretty locked down tight. My main deck, you could do more variety. Like I said, the Zoodiac cards, I see a lot of people doing 2 Thoroughblade, 1 Ramram. I've seen 2 Ramram, 1 Thoroughblade. Like I said, I just like one of each personally. As far as my hand traps and disruption cards go, let's start with the hand traps. I'm playing 3 Maxx and 3 Ash, which I think is fairly standard across not just Tri-Brigade Zoodiac as a whole, but really just decks and Master Duel in general. I think just about everybody's playing 3 Maxx, 3 Ash, and for good reason. They are very, very good disruption tools. The other hand traps we're playing are 2 Nibiru, the Primal being. You know, this is a card you could really play anywhere from 1 to 3. I do think 3 is too many for sure, especially in this deck. In maybe more of like a control-y deck, like maybe something like Zoodiac or Sky Strike, you could get away with 3 Nibiru. I like 2 here. I think 2 is kind of the sweet spot because you don't always want to see it, but it's nice to open it fairly consistently. We also have 3 Infinite Impermanents that also acts as a hand trap, very useful for hitting monster effects on turn 1. On your opponent's turn 1, that is. And I also really like setting impermanence in the back row, particularly in the middle column, so that you can flip it up, negate an opponent's monster, and most people tend to just play their spells and traps in the middle column, so you could get a sneaky little negate of a spell or trap in that way, because remember, it'll negate anything activated in that column for the rest of the turn, not just when you activate infinite impermanence. For further disruption cards, you can see we're playing 2 Forbidden Droplet, which is a fairly recent addition to the deck. You know, I didn't play it for the longest time just because I hadn't crafted it yet, but then, you know, I saw enough people were using it, and of course we know that Drytron is on the rise, especially if you watched my Season 2 meta report. We know that Drytron is seeing an increase in play, and likely going into the Season 3 ranked ladder, you will be seeing a decent amount of Drytron. That's not to say that Droplet is only useful against Drytron, though. Droplet can really be used against pretty much any deck. I mean, you can use it against Numerons to prevent yourself from getting OTK'd. You can, obviously, like I said, Drytrons can use it against Heralds. You can use it against, like, pretty much any monster on the board that's setting up, like, negates. And in particular, if we're discarding, like, monsters or traps, and our opponent can't even really respond to Droplet. Same with spells. You know, you can use it against other Tri-Brigade decks. You can just stop the activation of a card if you want to, if you don't even need to, like, unlock board. You can use it to have monsters attack so you can battle over them. You can use it to save yourself from getting OTK'd or losing that turn by having monsters attack. This card is just a lot more versatile than I gave it credit for in the, you know, beginning. I'm not ready to commit to 3 copies just yet. If I do decide to put a 3rd copy in, I will, of course, update the deck profile, but I'm really liking 2 copies. It's a lot like Nibiru in that you want to see it enough of the time that it's useful against certain matchups, but it's not something you want to see every single time. For further disruption cards, we're playing 1 Lightning Storm and 1 Harpie's Feather Duster. These are very useful for going second. One of the strongest things about Tri-Brigade Zoodiac is the fact that it can go second or first. Ideally, you do want to go first, but if you're forced to go second, it's typically not that big of a deal because we have so many hand traps. We have Forbidden Droplet to break boards. We've also got Harpie's Feather Duster and Lightning Storm to break boards during our opponent's or during our next turn, after our opponent has already, you know, done their first turn and made their plays. Having the back row removal is fairly important because if our opponent doesn't have any back row or hand traps to disrupt us, then we pretty much just have free reign of the board, and at that point Tri-Brigade can very easily lock down the game with even a single card, like even 1 Fraktall, is enough to set up plays to just pretty much end the game on its own. We're playing 3 Desires, which is a bit, you know, there are times where Desires is not great in this deck, to be honest. Particularly turn 1, you don't want to play Desires before you start comboing off, right? So like if you've got a Fraktall and a Desires in hand, you should really use the Fraktall effect first to send a Kitt, and then Kitt to send Nervall, and then Nervall to add, you know, to the Fraktall or Kerass, depending on what the rest of your hand looks like. Ideally, if you can, you'd want to get a Revolt search in as well before you Desires, because the thing that is iffy about Desires is that if it banishes enough of our Tri-Brigade monsters, or like all 3 copies of pretty much any one of our cards, it's not good for us at all. Yeah, I've had games where I banished like all 3 of my Nervalls, or all 3 of my Kitts, or all 3 of my Revolts with Desires, and that just makes the game a lot harder for us. Not unwinnable by any means, but definitely a lot harder. So be careful about how you use Desires. If you're going second, if you're playing into a board, I would be more inclined to play Desires before I combo, to try to get something like Harpie's Feather Duster or Lightning Storm if I needed it. But generally speaking, I would try to get your plays in before your Desires. 3 Tenki is pretty self-explanatory. It adds Fraktall as well as our Zoodiac cards, so it adds pretty much the best cards in our deck to our hand. This card is going to be played at 3 as long as it is at 3. And the only other card I haven't gone over is Called By. Very useful for not only stopping hand traps that disrupt our plays, like I mentioned earlier, we're a little bit vulnerable to that. But we also can stop stuff like that activates in the graveyard, like if our copy or if our opponent's playing Eldelich, we can banish it and then negate it, and also just get it out of the graveyard so they can't recur it. Also, if our opponent has like a monster effect they're activating on board and they have a copy of that monster in the graveyard, you can use Call By to banish a copy in the grave to negate the activation of the one that's on board or in hand or wherever it's activating. So I really like Call By. It's a very versatile card, and I think it's very good, especially in a deck like this. So I know we already mentioned the extra deck is a little bit on lockdown, but I'll still talk about the card choices here and why I think they're all very solid. The Zoodiac Xyz monsters, I like having one of each like this because they can all be useful in different scenarios, right? Like Tiger Mortar can actually be useful for making your Zoodiac monster have good stats, if you've got other like Zoodiac main deck monsters in the grave. Chakanane can be useful for setting up future plays, like a future Zoodiac Xyz play, or potentially if you've got like a Whiptail in hand, you could potentially bring back a Trident and then, you know, use the Whiptail to attach it to the Trident, and then you can, you know, reuse a Trident that way. You don't do that as often here as you would in like a pure Zoodiac build, but it is something you can do. Trident is obviously extremely powerful in that it can just blow cards up as a quick effect. It's the best Zoodiac card. And Borbo is very useful for attacking directly, so we can go into Zeus. Now, the ratio of Zoodiac Xyz monsters in the extra deck is set up the way that it is because we typically will use 3 of them in combination with 1 Zoodiac monster to try to go into Zeus. Most of the time, I try to leave Borbo, and the reason I do that is, so like I'll go, let's say, Thoroughblade into Tiger Mortar, into Chakanane, and then into Trident. And then the reason I like to do that is because, you know, maybe my opponent has an answer to Trident, or maybe they, you know, can negate Trident's effect, or just get rid of it. I mean, really just answer it. I just kind of said it all when I said answer it, right? So that way if they answer Trident, I still have a Borbo in my extra deck that I can make later, attack directly, and then go into Zeus. There have also been times where, like, yeah, I overlay the Zeus onto the Trident, and then I just have the random Borbo in my extra deck, but that random Borbo later can be, you know, used to attack for game. That's happened, you know, more than once, so try to save Borbo for last. Generally, it's going to mostly depend on what kind of a situation you're in, honestly, but generally speaking, that's my advice with Borbo. For the extra deck monsters, Almirage might not seem, if you've never played this deck and you just read it on paper, it's like, what good is this card? Like, why is this in the extra deck? The reason we play Almirage and why it's so important is if you open and you only have like a Kitt or a Nervall and no other Tri-Brigade plays, you can at the very least normal summon them, link them away, and then you get their graveyard effects, and then you can start, like, you know, making plays and stuff. So Almirage is very useful for that. Again, it doesn't look like it's necessary on paper, but in practice, this is definitely a staple of the extra deck. I also doubted Double Dragon Oath for a long time. I was like, this effect isn't that great. Like, it's only got 1600 attack, and like, is the bounce really worth it? It really is, honestly. Most of the time we have like a Tenki up or something that we can just bounce back, or if we have a Revolt down, we can flip Revolt, and then we can use Double Dragon Oath as Chain Link 2 to bounce the Revolt back to our hand, and then the Revolt will still resolve. So Double Dragon Oath, very useful disruption tool, and I would very much consider it a staple as well. One of each Ferrigite and Bearbrum. I see some people not play like a Double Dragon, or not play an Eagle, or not play an Almirage, and play a second of one of these. If I was going to play a second of either, I guess it would probably be Ferrigite, but really I don't think you need a second copy of either. One of each is definitely enough. You want to be careful about how you use them as well, because if we use Ferrigite's effect, then we can only use Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast as materials to summon monsters for the rest of the turn. And if you use Bearbrum's Search effect, remember that you can only summon Tri-Brigade monsters for the rest of the turn. So definitely keep that in mind when you're comboing, just to make sure you don't accidentally lock yourself out of some plays because you think you can summon a kind of monster you can't, or you can use a material, or you think you can use a material that you can't. I like the one of Doom Eagle because, like I said, it can be useful for OTKing. It's not difficult to have this card be at 4,800 attack points. And also the quick effect to shuffle, like disrupt your opponent's graveyard is very, very useful as well. One Rugal, you just need the one. It's pretty much just there to be a link 3 to go into, like, you know, Fraktall and Bearbrum into Rugal, and then you can get a Revolt search. But it's also got a very useful effect. And if you're forced to use your Revolt while this card is on the board, like if your opponent Harpie's Feather Duster, you can flip Revolt to get out your Omen, and then if you still have Rugal on board, you can use Rugal's effect to summon a Tri-Brigade monster, and then you can get the Omen banished later. That way, so you're not wasting it. The one of Appalachia is very good. Ideally, on turn 1, you're going to want to make a 2 or 3. Ideally, 3 material Appalachia. Sometimes you can make 4. Just so you have a bunch of monster effect negates on your opponent's turn. Accesscode, very useful for OTKing, as well as just generally clearing boards. And finally, 2 of Omen, the only card in the extra deck we have 2 copies of because we like having access to it a lot. It's the main thing. Pretty much we're going to get it off Revolt 99% of the time with Revolt. And yeah, it's useful for banishing during our opponent's turn, again with Revolt, and just continual, you know, banishing after there and after. Okay, so I think that about covers all of the deck and extra deck. If you have any further questions, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to address those in the replies there. I'm always checking those comments and always on the lookout for questions that I think not only you would all obviously have, but also that people generally would have. So I really do like to address them. So feel free to let me know, and I will be glad to chime in. So without further ado, I'm going to be showing you some games here that'll hopefully demonstrate a little bit more clearly how this deck works. It's obviously one thing to see a deck on paper, but really the best way to get a feel of what it's like is in practice. So without further ado, I'm going to be playing some games, and I'll be doing my best to explain each and every play as I'm making them in order to make it clear, you know, how this deck plays out. I will note, before I move into the games, I do want to note real quick that I'm not currently in Season 3. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm at the end of Season 2, but I'm at Plat 1, obviously, so I'll be playing against other Platinum players who we will be running into at the beginning of Season 3 as well on the ladder when we all go down to Gold. So it'll be a similar enough playing field. But, alright, let's go ahead and jump right into those games. Okay, looks like we've found our first opponent here. We win the coin flip, and now when we win the coin flip, we're pretty much always going to want to choose to go first. In fact, we are always going to want to choose to go first. This deck can play going second very well, but you still ideally would like to go first. See what our opening hand looks like. Maxx, Ash, Thoroughblade, Tenki, and Called By. That's a pretty solid opening hand. Very well actually, I should say, demonstrates how this deck can, you know, maneuver going first or second pretty seamlessly. We'll begin by activating Tenki. Ideally, I would like to get a Fraktall here. Doesn't look like our opponent's got a response, so they don't have an Ash because they weren't prompted to respond with Tenki at all. And as I mentioned, I'm going to add Z Fraktall. Now I'm going to activate my Fraktall's ability, discarding it. And you want to do this with Fraktall, right? We're going to want to send Kitt instead of just going straight into Nervall, and then we'll use Kitt to send Nervall to grave. The reason we're doing that is to load up our monster, or to load up our graveyard with as many Tri-Brigade monsters as possible. The more we have in there, the more resources we have later in the game in order to summon more Link monsters with our Tri-Brigade monsters effects. So with this final add here, you see I pretty much have the options of Kerass, Kitt, and Nervall and Fraktall because Nervall can't add itself. I've got a Thoroughblade in hand that I could normal summon for Zoodiac plays, but I want to set up a Revolt, is how you want to play pretty much every first turn, right? So I'm going to add a Fraktall here. And the reason I'm adding Fraktall and not Kitt is because Fraktall has just higher stats, so if they have like an effect failure or something and they negate this effect, I at least have a monster with 2,000 attack points out instead of one with 800. So now we're going to activate Fraktall's second ability. I'm going to be banishing 2 cards, and the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to summon a Bearbrum, and then I'm going to link away Fraktall and Bearbrum for Rugal, which will let me search a Revolt. Alright, another reason you want to send the Kitt to the graveyard with the Fraktall instead of just going straight into the Nervall is that this sets up 4 Tri-Brigade monsters between our graveyard and banished. And that's going to enable us to actually activate Revolt for Omen. Now, you might think, well, wait, even if I hadn't done that, wouldn't you still have the Bearbrum? We can't actually use the Bearbrum with Revolt because we didn't properly link summon it. We link summoned it with an effect, and if you link summon a monster with an effect, or any extra deck monster, this applies to Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz as well. Here I'm going to put back the Called By because our opponent hasn't responded with any hand traps yet, and I don't really know what they're playing, so if it's Eldritch, I mean, I would have liked the Called By, but I don't know that for certain. Actually, it looks like our opponent's playing a 60-card deck. I'm going to set the Revolt here. But yeah, so the Bearbrum wasn't properly link summoned, so I can't get it back with Revolt, so that's why you want to set up the extra kit in the graveyard as well. So as you can see, I set up a Revolt, I've got a Maxx and an Ash, I've got a Zoodiac Thoroughblade for next turn for potential plays. This is a really, really good example of a fairly average turn 1. This is what you want to be doing pretty much most of the time, if not better, on turn 1. Now this deck is capable of doing much, much better turn 1s, but okay, looks like our opponent is playing Infernoids. So they're going to use Decatron's ability. We definitely do not want this to resolve, so I am going to use Ash on it. I could have flipped up Revolt to Banish, but I want to save the Banish for something that's more threatening, right? If I Ash this Decatron, then it's not really going to be doing a whole lot. Whereas if I Revolt it and then Banish it, my opponent could summon something much scarier later. Okay, opponent's going to play a Relinquished Anima. I don't feel particularly threatened by it because it's not pointing to anything, so, yeah, that's fine with me. We don't need to do that. Okay, now they're activating Mecha Hornet Drones, huh? Okay. So I'm going to activate Maxx in response to that since I knew they were going to be special summoning a monster. That monster being the token. And I suspect they're going to use this token in the anima to go into a link too as well. Drew another Ash, not an awful draw. We don't need to flip this yet. So now that I've played this Maxx, my opponent's got a bit of a dilemma, right? Because they're in a position where they need to keep special summoning in order to advance their board state. And that's just going to keep giving me more draws. This is kind of perfect. Our opponent's going to activate Nightmare Phoenix in order to target our back row, but I'm going to chain Revolt. They did get to discard an Infernoid monster, which is a little annoying, but, you know, actually, what I'm thinking here, I might not even use, I mean, obviously I'm going to summon Omen, but I'm not going to use Omen's effect because this Nightmare Phoenix doesn't threaten us at all, and we can use Rugal's effect to special summon a Tri-Brigade monster, whereas if, this comes out, I want to definitely deal with it, so I don't want to use Rugal's effect. Alright, watch this. Alright, I'm going to summon Nervall, Kitt, Fraktall. Fraktall, again, that's why I did Fraktall into Kitt, into Nervall, and to get Fraktall. Again, it seems like I just did a big circle, but it was definitely needed in order to make all of these plays here. Okay, let's link away all 4 of these. I'm going to play... Ooh, I could play Omen over here. No, I'm going to play it in the middle. My opponent randomly has a second Relinquished Anima, they could get it here. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about chain blocking, right? So I get the option to activate all my effects here. Remember that chains resolve backwards in Yu-Gi-Oh! So that the one that you activate at the end is going to be the one your opponent is able to respond to. So the way I like to remember this is the first one in is the last out. First in, last out. I'm going to pick Nervall first because I want it to be the last one out. Then I'm going to pick Kitt because I don't care about the mill as much as I care about the search. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm actually not going to activate Omen right now to banish Nightmare Phoenix because I don't really need to. I think my opponent's going to bring back their Infernoid monster, and so I can use Rugal's effect to summon a Tri-Brigade from my graveyard, and then I'll get Omen's banished there. So in a situation like this, even though I'm already getting Nervall's effect, I'm going to send a Nervall because it's the worst top deck of those options there. And then with Nervall's search, let's see what I have in my hand. Ash, Thoroughblade, and Feather Duster. I'm going to add a Fraktall, because Fraktall can not only potentially set up plays, but is also a solid normal summon in and of itself. Layer of Darkness. All face-up monsters on the field become dark. Once per turn, if you attribute a monster you control to activate a card effect, you contribute a dark monster your opponent controls. Do I need to banish this? Let's see. By banishing 2 Infernoid monsters from your hand or graveyard. 8 or lower. I feel like I should banish this Layer of Darkness, because I feel like my opponent's going to try to tribute one of my monsters. It's the safe play. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to chain with Rugal's effect. Let's see. I'm going to special summon... I already have a Fraktall, right? I guess it couldn't hurt to have another one as well. I'm going to summon Fraktall in attack mode. Also, it has the same attack as Nightmare Phoenix, so if my opponent wants to try to attack me, they're going to... Actually, it has more because of Tenki. So I'm going to banish this Layer of Darkness they just activated. Okay, what do they have here? Infernoid or Void Imagination. Infernoid monsters. Okay, they got the conceit. So yeah, that card wasn't very relevant. So that was actually a fantastic demonstration of how Tri-Brigade Zoodiac can set up a first turn to go into your opponent's first turn and pretty much shut them down for doing anything. It's kind of funny because you basically your turn kind of lasts on both turns. You play half on your turn and then you play the other half of your turn on your opponent's turn. But cool, that was a perfect example of what an ideal turn 1 game looks like. And not even ideal necessarily. We can have much stronger turn 1 boards than that, but that's a fairly average one. So alright, let's go ahead and go right into the next game here against Erpanzen. Alright. I'll lose the coin flipped here, so we're probably going to be going second, but that is fine with me. We have plenty of hand traps, as well as the Storm and Feather Duster and Droplet to help us go second against... Oh, they're going to have us go first. Interesting. Okay, so what does that mean? That means it's probably... I mean, it's a deck that wants to go second, obviously. Or they could have just, missed the prompt, but let's assume it's a deck that wants to go second, so that would be something like Pure Zoodiac, Sky Striker, Numeron, maybe some other kind of OTK deck, but... Okay, so we opened with 2 Nervall, Whiptail, Desires, and Imperm. So I am actually going to Desires first here, because we have plays with Nervall to go into Almirage, but let's see if we can get some better plays going here. And our banishes don't look bad. We lost both of our Kerasses, but that's not quite as big of a deal as losing like all of our Fraktalls or Kitts or Revolts, so that's good. And indeed, we did get a Tenki here, so I'm going to go ahead and activate that. I'm going to add a Fraktall. I did activate Tenki even though I had Lightning Storm because, well, it's, if it's... Yeah, sure, the Tenki blocks the Lightning Storm, but it's more important to get the Fraktall and actually set up our plays than to potentially set up a Lightning Storm later. Okay, same old spiel here. Fraktall send Kitt. Kitt effect send Nervall. Desires was a little risky because I could have banished my 3rd Nervall, but that wouldn't have been like a huge deal. It would have been annoying for sure though. Okay, then I'm going to normal summon the Fraktall I added. Activate Z Fraktall F for 2. Spanish Kitt and Nervall. See if our opponent's got a response. Nope. Okay, I'm going to get Farajit because I have another Tri-Brigade monster I can special summon. Could also think about summoning Zoodiac Whiptail, but I want to be able to set up a Bearbrum here, so I'm going to summon Nervall. Okay, now I'm going to link away my Farajit and my Fraktall into a Rugal, and I'm doing this to set up some more Tri-types in my graveyard because I've only got the 1 Fraktall right now, so let's summon Rugal. Now that we have 3 in our graveyard... oh, and we get Farajit's effect as well, which is actually fairly good for us here. So this is interesting. Do I want a second Imperm, or do I want to put back a Lightning Storm? I could also think about putting back Nervall. I kind of like having a Tri-Brigade monster in hand, although I will say that we're going to search Revolt anyway. I think the second Imperm might be a little more useful, although we are going to go into Appalachia as well. I think I am actually going to put the duplicate Imperm back. If I wasn't about to go into Appalachia, I'd consider keeping it, but also we got to think about our number of summons. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are doing a little bit of a risky play by going into Bearbrum here for summon number 5. but hopefully it'll just pay off. Yep, okay, cool. They did not have the Nibiru. That is something to think about. And you should think about it that a little bit more than I did there, but yep, they did not have a Nibiru, so we can just go safely into Appalachia from here. Do that, and we'll use this as 2, and then we'll use Rugal. And there we go, 3 material Appalachia. Now we can activate Bearbrum's effect to search a revolt. And I think this time I am going to put my Lightning Storm back because I do have the Tenki up. I don't have a double dragon set up or a droplet, so odds are not that great it'll be that useful for me. I'm going to set revolt here. I'm going to put imperm in the middle column, and then I'm going to pass to my opponent. If my opponent summons a monster and tries to activate its effect, I might even imperm and not even Appalachia, because it'll let my Appalachia have more attack points, making it harder to run over. And also, if my opponent then tries to activate a spell or trap in the middle column, imperm has the chance to negate that as well. So it'll depend on what they summon. We'll see here. Let's see. Yeah, but as you can see, this is like this is what I would call like a still average-ish, but probably slightly above average opening board. Looks like our opponent's having some connection issues. This is what I call a slightly above average opening board. Not even slightly, this is above average. Any chance you get to set up like a 3+ material Appalachia is usually pretty good. If we would have had like 3 material Appalachia and a double dragon, that would have been especially great. We could have had the opportunity to do that. Well, it would have been a 2 material Appalachia and a double dragon, but if we already had a revolt in our opening hand and didn't have to go into Bearbrum, we could have gone into a double dragon, which is one of the reasons why I say it's good to play through revolt. Like I mentioned, it's nice to be able to open your revolt and then not have to go into Bearbrum. Okay, looks like our opponent's playing trains. They play a revolving switchyard. Is that something that I want to banish? I think the answer might actually be yes, even though it seems like I'm kind of like snapping the trigger a little early here. This revolving switchyard is kind of single-handedly capable of setting up their plays, plus I still have a bunch of monster and effect negates, so yeah, I'm just going to activate revolt in response here. Going to refill our graveyard with these banished Tri-Brigade monsters. Yeah, because here's the thing, if I let this resolve, and they summon, you know, a machine monster they can set up, I mean, sure, I could banish the, Xyz monster they summoned, but honestly, I like getting rid of the switchyard, because I really just like not letting them establish their play at all whatsoever. Okay, so once again, here's an example of chain blocking. I want Nervall's effect, I want Omen's effect, I don't really care as much about Kitt's effect, so the first ones in are going to be at the beginning, and the last one is going to be at the end, and that's the one that they're going to be able to respond to. First in, last out. So first is going to be Nervall, then Omen, then Kitt. So now if they have like an Ash or something, they can't Ash the Nervall, they have to Ash the Kitt. But it doesn't look like they have anything. Our only card left to send is another Revolt, so we'll just send that. Let's banish the switchyard they played. And we'll add the last Kitt in our deck to our hand there. Yeah, switchyard, for those unfamiliar, basically they would have discarded a card, added a level 10 machine monster they could have activated by, you know, they could have normal or special summoned. Now they're playing Terraforming to get another switchyard, so you can see how important this is to their plays. It is a bit unfortunate they just have another one, but at least we're able to stop, you know, at least we know now that it was right to stop the first one, which I was already fairly certain of. So yeah, they're going to activate Switchyard, discard a card in order to grab a train they can special summon, and then with Switchyard they can get a level 4 train, they can go up to a level 10. Then they're going to overlay, which is going to be a problem for us, because their Gustav Maxx is going to be able to run over, and then the thing that stacks on a Gustav Maxx, yeah, that's going to be able to run over like literally anything we've got, so we're probably going to lose our Appalachia here, but it's not that big of a deal. We have some plays next turn with the Kitt and the Nervall. We've also got a Whiptail, so we could even Zeus our opponent next turn, potentially. Always useful to take this time when our opponent's thinking, to be planning ahead ourselves. Definitely don't want to just be sitting here waiting for our opponent to do something. We want to think about, okay, what are they about to do? Can I respond to it? How can I respond to it? What can I potentially do next turn in order to come back from it? Let's see. Let me look at my banish again here. The 2 Kerass, Revolt, Cold Bite. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. Thoroughblade, yeah, whatever. Okay, did they activate? They did activate the effect. They're just trying to figure out what they want to discard here. Depending on what they get, I could maybe negate it with Appalachia and they wouldn't be able to summon it. That would be ideal, but I don't think that's going to happen. They sent a Kyoto Waterfront. Interesting. So it's trains and kaijus. Kind of seems like a conflict of interest there. They open a lot of field spells. Super Express Bullet Train. For all machine monsters, minimum 1 you can special summon. During the end phase, you can target 1. Okay, got it. Once per turn, you can inflict 500 damage. You cannot conduct your battle phase. 5% there. Okay. So making sure I don't need to pull the trigger on anything here. Just, you know, reading my opponent's cards, getting familiar with them. Yeah, I'm just going to negate that with Appalachia. And if they battle over my Appalachia, that's fine with me. No skin off my bones. That is once per turn, right? I thought I read that. Yeah, you can only use each effect once per turn. Okay. Yeah. Don't want to have like a dangerous situation. Oh, they had a kaiju. Okay. That's fine. Is their last card another kaiju? It is. Interesting. Okay. Special summon. Okay, yeah, all the kaijus need kaiju counters to activate their effects, so I'm not really concerned about that. Yeah, actually, I'm not really concerned about my opponent's board at all right now, because I know their last card is the Railroad Express thing, Super Express Bullet Train. So if I Zeus their board, they just have this, and they don't, and that can't get any plays by itself. So, like, yeah, they're gonna battle over here and battle over here, but no, I don't need to imperm. Yeah, I can just summon Whiptail, go into Borbo, attack directly, overlay a bunch of stuff, Zeus, blow up the board, and then we don't have anything to worry about. This is why I like the Zoodiac engine a lot. I've been asked before, like, would you ever consider taking out the Zoodiacs for 3 Rescue Cat? That would open up your extra deck for some more options as well. No, honestly, I really wouldn't, even though Rescue Cat is pretty good if you're using like a pure Tri-Brigade deck. You know, the Zoodiac engine is only 5 extra deck slots and 3 main deck slots, and the potential to come back with Zeus is very, very powerful. As we're about to see here, unless our opponent disconnects. Which would be unfortunate, because I would like to show a Zeus come back. Nope, we don't need to imperm, that's fine. We got Nibiru, that's cute, but not useful. Yeah, there's not really anything I could summon, I don't think, with Nervall or Kitt that would be better than Zeusing here. And we could try to go into Accesscode. Well, yeah, we could try to go into Accesscode, Talker. We do actually have a lot of Link monsters in our graveyard. Is that better than setting up Zeus? Can we do both? I think we can, actually. No, we can't. Yes, we can. Summon Kitt. Use Kitt to summon Farajit. No, we don't have Farajit in our extra deck. Okay, we can't do that. I mean, we could summon Kitt, banish 3 for Doom Eagle, and then link those into Accesscode, and then blow up all 3 of our opponent's stuff. Our Accesscode's at 5,300. Is that better than Zeusing? I don't think it is. I think Zeusing is better. Oops. Yeah, I think Zeusing is better. Yeah, I do. Okay. I was just trying to decide if I really did. Okay, I summon Whiptail. Now let's go into Borbo. And we'll move into battle phase. We can attack directly with Borbo. Alright, now main phase 2. We can overlay Tiger Mortar. I don't think I have any... Oh, no, no, wait, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't have any Zoodiac monsters in Grave, so... Then I'll overlay Chakanane, and I'm not going to overlay... Actually, should I overlay Dryden? Do I want a 5 material Zeus? Will that 5th material ever really matter? I don't think it will. I think I'd rather leave Dryden in my extra deck for a potential future play, because I still have Ramram in my main deck. So I'm going to overlay into Zeus. You always want to summon Zeus in defense mode to play around Lightning Storm. And even though I've got an Imperm on board, I'm still just going to activate Zeus's effect just to get rid of my opponent's board and ensure that they don't have any future plays. You just want to make sure this doesn't do anything when it's destroyed. Doesn't look like they do. This will let them add an Earth Machine, but I'm not really concerned about that because I just... let's put those two in Grave. It doesn't really matter. Yep, and I still have 2 materials on my Zeus, so they're going to get a search here, and they can potentially set up some plays, but as soon as they try to do, I'll just Zeus their board, and then they won't have anything left. So yeah, they're going to try to normal summon that Night Express Knight, and then special their rail. Once they special their rail thing, I'll just Zeus then. Don't really know enough about trains to know. I know there's like Urgent Schedule, I think, is a potential comeback card for them. I was just about to say that I don't know enough about trains to know about all of their like comeback cards and stuff. Oh hey, look, it's Urgent Schedule. It's that card I was talking about. Special summon. If this card was sent from the field. So there's special summoning a level 4. Like there's special summoning a machine monster, but its effects are negated. That's fine. Again, as soon as they summon a second level 10 monster, I'm just gonna... Oh wait, what does this do? Oh, they summon one of each? Or did this summon... Wait, how do they summon 2 monsters there, I wonder? This card is no more special summon. And then what are they targeting? Ruffian Railcar? That's fine. And then, yeah, okay, it's just negated anyway. That's weird. I don't know how they summoned 2 there. I must have misread Urgent Schedule. Oh, no, I did. I put the or in the wrong spot. I see the and now. Okay. You can target 1 monster you control. It becomes the same level. It's a bit of a predicament for me. Because it means they're gonna, like, they have 2 opportunities to play, like, a rank 10 play here. Do I want to respond with Zeus to this becoming level 10? No, I think I'm good. Oh, also it's negated. Yeah, in that situation I was willing to wait for their Gustav Maxx, because then they would have to commit to a second rank 10 in order to get the play with the Night Express Knight and the Super Bolt Express thing in their hand. We can also think about Nibiruing soon here. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like they could easily summon 5 or more monsters this turn. But they gotta play around my Zeus first. We have Nibiru as a nice backup play. Okay, as soon as they summon this, I'm assuming they're, yeah, I gotta summon it. I'm actually gonna switch this to on. Okay, now that you summon that, yeah, let's activate Zeus. Because their last card is Night Express Knight, which doesn't do anything by itself. Ooh, unless one of these things can summon itself back from Grave, that'd be a little scary. Nope. And now we can summon Kitt, and then... Oh wait, what does this do? That's fine, whatever. Yep, we can summon Kitt, banish 3, get the Eagle, link them into Accesscode, and then just swing for game. Hey, we even have a called by for the hand trap we know they don't have. Alright, let's summon Kitt and activate Kitt's ability. 4-3. Yeah, sure doesn't really matter which ones we banish here. Summon an eagle. I don't really need to put anything back. Let's just go into Accesscode. And we'll activate the effect. Obviously the Link 3 Eagle is going to make this 5300. Yeah, like I mentioned in the deck profile, Accesscode is a really nice way of going into game. I'll even activate to destroy this. Just in case my opponent's got some kind of like honest type effect or something. And they're just going to concede. Okay, so that game was a really nice example of showing how, you know, we've got our turn 1 set up. We were actually stopped in our turn 1 setup a little bit, but then... Oh no, sorry, I think that was a different game. I think I'm mixing up games. Oh, this one was so back and forth. But it's a good example of how we can like use Zeus as a follow-up play to then enable... an OTK even after our opponent's already like set up and started doing their plays. So let's try to see if we can get one more game in here. Okay, we've got another Platinum 1 opponent here. Let's see how this coin flip shakes out. We won, which is good for us, so we're gonna go first. I wonder if they're playing a Dark Magician deck. I do find that, I don't know about most of the time people have Dark Magician, you know, mates, they're playing Dark Magicians, but when they are playing Dark Magicians, they always have a Dark Magician mate. Looks like our opponent's playing another 60-card deck here. And wow, what an opening hand. Wow, what an opening hand. One of each Tri-Brigade monster. Okay, we're going to start by activating Fraktall. See if our opponent has an Ash. If they do, that's a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Okay, they didn't, so we're going to use Kitt. We're going to send a Kitt and then use Kitt. Nothing from our opponent. Okay, we'll go ahead and send Nervall. Activate Nervall. And since we already have one of each Tri-Brigade in hand, we'll just loop around and add Fraktall. Let's see, should I try normaling Fraktall or special summoning Kerass first? I think either way I have to commit to playing into Maxx potentially, which I actually do suspect they have based on the way they were getting responses but not responding. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do have a Maxx here. So even though it looks like, wow, I have one of each Tri-Brigade, I can do like any play I want, we do actually want to think about this carefully. I'm going to normal summon my Fraktall first. I'm going to activate. I'll do it for 2. For Kitt and Nervall. And then let's see if they chain Maxx here. They did. Okay, I figured they had one. Good news is we already have Revolt set up. Bad news is we're probably going to have to give them another summon anyway in order to get the Revolt, like enough materials for the Revolt in our grave. So in that vein, do I want to summon Farajit and get an extra draw, or do I want to get a search with Bearbrum here? Also, conversely, do I think I'll need Farajit or Bearbrum more later? It's actually a tough question. I could see it going either way, honestly. I think I want to summon Bearbrum and get another Revolt. Because obviously I'm not going to activate Farajit's effect to summon this turn. I'd only be summoning her for the draw. What am I putting back in my deck? Probably the Nervall? Okay. Yeah, just making sure that's what I want. I really don't want another draw. I mean, I would rather obviously have the draw, but we might need the Farajit next turn. This is my only concern. No, I don't think we will, actually. I am going to get Farajit. I think the draw is better enough here. It was close. Okay, I'm not going to activate Farajit's effect, though. I'm just going to go into Rugal. Again, the reason I'm doing this is to set up enough Tri-Brigade monsters from between my graveyard and banish to actually get an Omen off of this Revolt. It is going to give my opponent an extra draw, but I think it's worth it. And we're just going to put Kerass back, because obviously we drew another Kerass. I'm going to set Revolt and pass it to my opponent. Let's see what they do. Playing a 60 card deck, so it's probably, I mean, it's some kind of like, it's either Infernoid or Lightsworn or maybe some like Kaiju thing. 60 card Dark Magicians. Hey, look, I called it. Sword is activated, look at the top of your reveal. I'm gonna banish this, because I don't want my cards to get banished. And I think if I banish this, they might not even get the Excavation. I don't know if that's how that works. Let's find out. Kitt, Nervall, Fraktall. Yeah, summon, and summon. It's a little tedious to have to do this every single time, you know, you want to revolt, but, I mean, it's also totally worth it. I am fine clicking through all 4 of these 3 times in a row just to get the Omen here. I know, they're going to get the Excavate effect right now. Yeah, duh. But am I going to banish this Dark Magical Circle now? So they didn't have a Dark Magician card in their top 3. If Dark Magician is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 card here. No, I don't need to activate Omen right now. I can wait. We're going to use Nervall and Kitt. Because it's if they summon Dark Magician specifically, not just like a Dark Magician monster. So I can just wait till they activate an effect that would summon Dark Magician. Then I can chain Rugal. No, but then they'll still get the banish. I'm probably just overthinking this. But I'm not going to use it right now. Hope that doesn't come back to bite me later. Yeah, okay, so see, that's another example of chain blocking. They're going to chain Gamma. I could just chain Rugal now. If I wanted to banish the circle. Because if they play a spell... Because here's the thing, right? If they play a spell that, like, special summons Dark Magician, for example, and then I chain Rugal, they'll still summon the Dark Magician and still get the banish. Yeah, I'm just going to do this now. I'm a little worried about that banish. Because I do like their odds of special summoning Dark Magician. You control no monsters. They get that activation if you do destroy it. So we're going to get the Fraktall. And with Nervall's Search, we're going to add another Fraktall. And now we get Omen's effect, so let's activate it. Banishing their circle. Because they could have also just Tribute summoned Dark Magician just now as well. This way, I mean, they still could, but it's not as good of a play, for sure. See what they do. If they just battle, I don't care if they destroy my Fraktall or Rugal. That's totally fine with me. Sorry, I kind of had my hands over my mic a little bit there. Crystron Halcathrax. Okay. Are they gonna go into Accesscode? No, there's no spells in Grave. Okay. So they can't go... I was like, do they go Valor, you know, Selene, bring back Valor, and Selene into Accesscode? But no, they can't do that right now. Because neither of us have spells in Grave. Discard Starlight Road. Oh, Special Summon. Got it. The, oops, sorry, I bumped the mic there again. The Apprentice Illusion Magician. That's fine. They add the Dark Magician. No, see, they are going to summon Dark Magician. I knew they would. Usually pretty good about... Yeah, these Dark Magician decks, they're usually pretty good about summoning that Dark Magician, see? Alright, let's see. Yeah, if they summon Dark Magician, that's a little annoying because they have the Apprentice Illusion Magician. Looks like they're going to Link Summon, actually. Ooh, Nightmare Unicorn. That's not that great for me. They're going to shuffle back my Rugal, which is annoying. Not my Rugal, my Omen. They currently can't attack over my Rugal, which is good for me. They can attack over this Fraktall, which again I don't particularly care about, to be honest. Oh, I'm just waiting for them to do their plays. Oh, now they're going into Accesscode. Here we go. Ooh, they can blow up both my monsters. This isn't going to be lethal, is it? Even if you summon a Dark Magician somehow, that's 7,800 damage. I mean, it's still going to hurt. I'm going to take a lot of damage here, but I don't think they can lethal me just yet. Smarter than to destroy the Rugal, or the Fraktall first, because the Rugal knocking off 300 attack points might have actually come up here. I guess we'll see how close to 8,000 they get. Hopefully they're just done. I don't know any of these three cards, right? I'm pretty sure I don't. Ooh, that's not good. Oh, I really hope they don't have another Dark Spellcaster. Okay, they grab their third Dark Magician, so their hand is Dark Magician and a Mystery card. Okay, they're going to battle phase. I'm going to take 7,300, which hurts but isn't lethal. Okay, let's draw, see what we get. Maxx C. Oh, we could use that last turn. Okay, let me see here. How many of my Tri-Brigade monsters do I have left in my deck? I have 2 Kitt, 1 Nervall, and a Kerass. Okay, I have plenty. Let's see here. I'm going to start by activating Kerass's effect. I'm going to discard Kitt. Okay, it doesn't look like our opponent has a hand trap to respond with, which is really, really good for us. Let's activate Kitt's effect. Ooh, they have a response to this. No? Okay. Let's send Nervall. Nervall effect. And we'll add the last Kitt. Because we can't use the other Kerass anyway, so. Okay, now I have a graveyard loaded with tri-types. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Okay, good. That's what I like to see. So, let's activate Kerass's effect for 4. Let's see if my opponent has a response to this. If they don't, that's going to be really good for me, because then I can normal summon Fraktall or Nervall, basically go into Accesscode. Okay, they have Veiler. Could probably still go into Accesscode anyway. 1, 2... I mean, I can definitely go into Accesscode anyway. I know their last card is just a Dark Magician. Okay, so I'm going to summon my Fraktall here. Activate Fraktall's effect. Actually, I could also just go for an Omen and just banish the Accesscode. But I could also just get lethal here, right? I won't have lethal, not quite. I'll have 53 plus 19. Ooh, this is so close, oh my god. Maybe I could have gotten lethal here, actually. But I don't have a Farigite left in my extra deck as a thing. Because I already used it. See, I would have been wise for me to save Farigite. Let's just go for 3. 1, 2, and we'll banish 3. Get the Desperate Doom Eagle. I'm mostly just going to link this away so it doesn't particularly matter here. But I am going to activate its effect. I'm going to shuffle one of their Dark Magicians back into their deck and potentially brick them. I mean, 60 cards. It's like not... This doesn't matter at all, but... Okay, let's special summon, Accesscode. And then let's see how they like getting Accesscode talkered. activate. Using the Desperate Doom Eagle to go up to 53. I'll activate. Okay, just want to make sure that didn't do anything when it got, like, banished or something. Or destroyed, I mean. Well, I will access code your access code. And then I will access code your Apprentice Illusion Magician. Move into the battle phase. Attack with Fraktall. And then attack with access code. Alright, moving into main phase 2, I actually have to think about, do I want to activate Fraktall's effect? If my opponent summons Dark Magician and attacks, that's 600 damage. I mean, they could actually attack over my Fraktall for lethal. I'm going to activate Fraktall's effect to get it off the field. I think it's better to play around that here. We'll just send the Kerass, that's fine. I'm going to pass. So we know our opponent's last card in hand is a Dark Magician, and then it's going to be that plus whatever they top deck here. Let's see if they drew the out. Very close. Oh, they have the circle. Ooh, that might actually matter. Oh my god. Oh, please don't have anything to add. Please don't have anything to add. Magician's Salvation. Oh no, what does that do? This card is activated. You can set one Eternal Soul if you normal or special. Dark Magician, you can target one of those monsters. Special summon one. That's fine, that's fine. Because Eternal Soul is a trap. I know that. So I don't really care if they search it here. Dark Magician, your monster zone is unaffected. This face-up card leads the field, destroy all monsters you control once per turn. Okay, cool. Yep. Yeah, we got it. Yep, they can activate Eternal Soul. That's totally fine. Oh, no, it's not fine because they're going to summon their Dark Magician and banish my access code. Okay, I'm definitely going to max C. What do I have left in my extra? I still have both my omens. Oh, I know how we can get lethal. Wait, oh no, the Dark Magician is going to be unaffected by monster effects. By the card effects. Ooh, that's a problem. That's a problem. No, wait, no, that doesn't save us. Okay, call by is only for monsters. So, yeah, our access code's gonna get banished here. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Let's see here. Yeah, shoot, it's unaffected by card effects, otherwise I could have double dragon to try to bounce it. But that's not gonna work, is it? Oh, I could droplet and have its attack points. Oh, but it's not affected. Wow. Oh, this isn't good. This is not good. What am I saying? I could also just... Well, but I don't have another Link 3 to summon. Because I'm out of Rugal and... Ooh, that's a problem. Oh, man. Do I have a... Wow, oh my god. Oh, wow, this is quite a play I'm going to have to do here. Let's activate Nervall's effect for 2. Yeah, we'll banish those. Summon Bearbrum over here. And I'm going to activate Bearbrum's effect, which you don't do this very often. What do I want to discard? I want to discard Called By. And I'm going to discard Droplet. Oh, wait, I have to do them one at a time. Okay, let's special summon Fraktall in attack mode. Okay, this lets us... I mean, this opens us up to, like, an Omen play, but we can't banish the Dark Magician. When this card is activated... If you know more special summon... We could banish the Eternal Soul, though. Which is good enough, I think. We can attack over Dark Magician. Okay, we're just gonna have to do it that way. Summon Omen. Let's see. Care about Omen more than Bear Rum, so we'll make that Chain Link 1. Ooh, and we get to add a Revolt, and we have another Omen. Okay, this is good, this is good. We'll definitely return the Kitt to our deck. And now Omen, I'm going to banish Eternal Soul. Oh, duh, it destroys, their Dark Magician destroys when it leaves the field. I actually totally forgot about that. I was just going to battle over the Dark Magician. I mean, no, I definitely, totally planned that. Okay, so that is finally going to do it for this duel section here. So, yep, some fairly solid example games. Let's take one more look at the deck itself before we go ahead and end off the video. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed those sample games there. I thought they did a pretty decent job of showcasing all the different ways you play with this deck and the different situations you can play through, whether it's showing something as simple as how to set up a turn 1 Revolt, or whether we're showing how to follow up with a Zeus with your Zoodiac plays, or just a nice back and forth game throughout like that last one there. So, yep, one last look at the list if you want to take a look at it here. As I mentioned before, the list and previous deck profiles are going to be in the description below. Future descriptions are going to link to this deck profile as it is my most recent one and is the most up-to-date list. Yeah, so yep, as always, I want to thank everybody for watching very, very much. If you're a first-time viewer of the channel, if you feel like subscribing, I would greatly appreciate that. But even your viewership, especially through to the end here, is honestly just more than enough for me. If you have suggestions for the deck, if you have differences in your builds you want to discuss, if you have any questions, feel free to leave all of those in the comments below. If you have any suggestions for my own gameplay, how I could have potentially played better, I like hearing that as well, so feel free to leave that in the comments as well. I definitely consider this a very mutual, like, learning thing I've got going with you guys here, right? Like, obviously, I love explaining my decks and, you know, explaining my choices in games, but I also love hearing from you guys and improving myself by doing so. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like I already said, I say it all the time, but I can't say it enough. Without further ado, this is Sexlex, signing out, and I hope you have a fantastic day.